Hey, what's going on, Crawlspacers? Welcome to our show. And we're going to do spider news for this episode. And you know what? I just realized I forgot to invite JR. Hold on, let me figure out how I'm going to invite JR to the episode. Here we go. Let me copy this, and he will appear shortly on the episode. And you know what? The host makes mistakes too. You guys know that very well, I imagine, by now. Chat is probably insulting me right now about how many mistakes I make on an average basis on the opening of the show. JR, there is your link. I apologize. I did not send it. I sent it to everybody in Facebook. If only JR had Facebook. All right, let's introduce the panel. We have Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Well, Brad, thanks for having me on. And
Yeah,
yes, I am still recovering after the
God, the 8 deaths.
the
of us.
8 days of Spider-Man. Good God. Or is basically, I know you, or is basically what I would think most people would like to call it, like where the story where Peter Parker decides nothing else matters after dying multiple times. Yes. So, God.
Well, we survived it together, my friend.
I think hopefully so.
We did it.
So.
We did it.
We made it. We made it.
Someone who else made it with us, Christina. You survived the 8 deaths of Spider-Man. You're on the other end of it now.
Yes, we're done. Invisible hug to everyone that made it.
Yes, we made it. High five, everybody. Yes. Sarah made it through the 8 deaths of Spider-Man. Welcome. You survived with us.
Yes, still have not recovered, but we survived.
We're wearing patches. We're like smokers trying to quit. We're trying to quit Spider-Man. Josh made it through the 8 deaths of Spider-Man with us.
Barely. Okay.
Barely made it.
Barely.
Someone who's better off not having read it is Kelly. What's going on, Kelly?
It's 10 o'clock, Brad.
It is.
It's late. This is late for news.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep you up with the laughs. We're gonna keep you wide awake. We're gonna be laughing, etc. And by the way, love the new haircut. You look great. Looks very good.
Thank you.
This is a compliment from a bald man, but it does look good.
I appreciate it. I'm happy. I do not have hair down to my butt.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I don't either.
A lot of work.
Yep. And someone who doesn't have hair down to his butt either. How's this for a segue? We've got George.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. What's going on, buddy?
I too have survived the 8 deaths or whatever it is.
The 8 deaths of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best way to survive by not playing.
There you go.
You and Kelly are better off for not reading the story, because look what happened to the old man. I mean, he's dead. the 8 deaths of JR here. JR, are you okay?
What?
Is it because you read a bad story, or you like Kelly? It's late.
It's bedtime.
It's late and I'm old.
Yeah, your bedtime was like what, 4 hours ago?
Yeah.
Now, Kelly, have you just given up on ASM altogether, like many of us have?
If and when they retcon Jackpot, then I might debate on coming back.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Well,
and so there you go. So there
You
you
mean
go.
if she's going to leave the Jackpot character altogether, or does the
no,
story
like,
not have to exist?
All powers have to cease to exist.
You might want to go to the comic shop this Wednesday. Okay.
Okay.
The spoilers are out. I'm not touching it, but something's happening. All right. What's going on, chat? How is everybody? Good to see you all. We haven't done Spider News in a few months. So I'm going to surprise a few of you with a topic that was not on the rundown, because I'd like to see your reactions. I've gone to the toy store recently, and I have seen some various items on the shelf, and I would like.
We're talking about like a normal toy store, right?
Yeah,
Like the ones that sell Spider-Man memorabilia. Okay. And they definitely have a JR slant to them. So JR's reaction is what I'm really looking for these. So coming to the toy store is a new Green Goblin Hot Wheel. So JR, what's your reaction to that?
Oh, shut up and take my money.
Okay. This comes in a 2-pack where Spider-Man is in the little, isn't that cool? I think that's really cute.
Oh, that is that's
JR,
adorable.
what do you think of this Norman car? It shoots pumpkin squares.
Oh, I already got one.
You got that one?
I already got one.
Hold on. You've got this one. Let me full screen you. Oh, that's hysterical. Shoot a pumpkin at me.
Oh my God!
I love
no,
you have
it's,
this.
It's still in the doodad. So
Oh, it's in the doodad. Okay.
It's in the doodad.
It's in the doodad.
Oh, he's
okay.
Josh got his.
Oh, look, Josh has got one too.
Yeah,
Josh, you've got this too.
When I met Bruce at the Spider-Man pop culture, he brought me this.
Oh, how
that's
cute.
awesome.
Josh, you'll have to go to Ohio one day, and you and JR can play together.
Yeah, I'll make
There you
it part
go.
of my summer Missouri trip.
Yeah, Josh and I are talking about this summer going to see Fantastic Four. George, you're
Oh,
going to have to
nice.
come up, and I'll make it an adventure.
If Josh comes out here for Fantastic Four, I will go with you.
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
there you go.
You
Look at
guys
that.
can-
Crawlspace Unite.
You guys, can listen to me
JR,
bitch about
not
the
only does
summer
Norman have a new car available to him, he has this available to him. What is your reaction to this little
I've
Lego?
seen that. Yeah, I've
Seen
seen
this?
those.
What is this he's holding? What is that?
Spider-Bot.
Yeah, Trace.
Ah,
Trace-
Spider-Man.
Oh.
Okay, got it. So
I actually do have a couple of like Lego Green Goblins, but
Yeah.
I usually avoid this stuff because they're small and I lose things easily. So
yeah. This next one, I texted JR, and well, not this particular. Let me get to the one I texted JR with. I shot this picture. The other one stuff is from Amazon. I texted this and I go, JR, what do you think? It's a goblin dinosaur. JR, reaction?
I saw that, and when I saw it, I sent a copy to Spencer, and he was appalled, just about as much as I was.
Is that radioactive poop?
Yeah, is that a big? What is that?
Radio turds, right?
That's what it looks like.
Fair,
Kelly?
but it's clearly a mechanical dinosaur. It's a mechanical kaiju that will tail
Shoots out of his
blast.
butt.
I no, it looks like he takes
I
a dump.
mean, I mean,
Mechanical poo.
Mechanical.
it kind of. I mean, it's.
That looks like the story we just read in ASM. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, a fecal spear.
JR, how about a Velocigoblin?
No, I think I'll pass on the smaller cousin as well.
Okay. I thought that was fun. I took that picture. I saw these at Target.
What's going on in Spidey and His Amazing Friends that we have all these like little dinosaur toys?
And
They're
then you
turning
can
into
have
dinosaurs.
you can have a Lego Velociraptor versus Norman. How about this one?
Oh, Spider-Man's also a dinosaur.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, no, they're turned. They apparently, obviously, had an episode where they turned into dinosaurs. Which
Look
why
at
not? It's
Miles.
a toddler show.
That Mile? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Miles
Who's,
is
who's that? Is that Aunt May? Who is that?
No.
That's Trapster.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's right there, Brad.
where?
It says it
Oh,
on the
oh, right there. I got it. Got
God Almighty.
it. And then, so none of that dino stuff interests you, huh? How about?
Can I
Yeah,
just
Kelly,
say
what's
I really
up?
appreciate a preschool toddler show going to the Savage Land,
Mhm.
turning characters into dinosaurs. That's creative.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Listen,
well,
if you've never taught that age group, you'd
love-
understand. That is
they
the
love
Savage
dinos.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what got George when he was a little kid. Stegron.
How is
That
Stegron
is
not
true.
in that, though?
I know, right?
I
and-
guarantee you the people putting that cartoon together don't even know who the hell Stegron is.
Yeah.
And then I sent this text to JR today, and what did you say?
It said, "Shut up and give me, shut up and take my money." I immediately went on the web to look for that. Where is it?
It's not on sale yet.
It's not on sale yet. It's
one
probably
of-
at the Funko website. If I had to guess, it's a
It's
Funko
what-
original.
It's one of those things where you're like, you got to order it 2 years in advance, and then when the 2 years is over, they actually don't have any to send you.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Now this,
The symbiote. The thing is, the symbiote Spider-Man that you showed. Someone is actually selling that on eBay right now for $60.
Oh, really? Well, there's been several symbiote Spider-Man Funko Pops, but
yeah, but it's
That
this
one?
one though. I mean, someone got a hold of it and is selling it for $60 on eBay, but I couldn't find the Goblin. I don't. I couldn't even find it on the Funko website. But
now
Why is the symbiote costume Spidey like acting like a leprechaun? Like kicking his legs up in the air. What is that all about?
well, he's
I think
web
he's like-
swinging, but without the webs. You see this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
he's
like,
like,
yeah.
Don't
perched
know.
up on a wall, maybe.
I will say more than likely symbiote Spidey did come from the European markets first, and that's
Mhm.
probably why it's $60 on eBay right now.
Oh,
Oh,
And I
Because
also
they-
think oh, go
They
ahead,
make
Kelly.
these in waves.
hmm
I also think that they're going for the '90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
look.
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
With
they
the
are.
logo
Does have the
there.
Yep.
purple glider.
The last one is my version of "Shut Up and Take My Money." Todd McFarlane's been doing these cover recreations, and I love Spider-Man #1 from 1990, and I'm gonna get that one on the left. I love that Spider-Man pose and by McFarlane, and the base is all webs. This looks so much better than the Funko version of this.
hmm
So, anybody have these McFarlane? Like,
I think I used to have the cover for 13 what I think it was 13,
Oh.
which it had the
JR
black suit version of it. Yeah.
JR got the ASM 312 issue, McFarlane's Goblin. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to take it out of the box?
not yet.
Yeah. But anyway,
Oh,
that
I
Brad,
gotta make
I-
some room on it on my table for it.
yeah. What Sarah?
So you put a video up on the YouTube not that long ago, and all this Funko Pop stuff is like reminding me of it. It was a cover, and it was like a John Rita Jr. cover.
Yeah.
Where did you buy that from? Because I want to
Target. It was actually on clearance at Target. It's a Target exclusive.
Okay.
It's ASM 34.
It's
volume
exclusively
2.
on clearance at Target.
Well, I mean it's sold at Target and it's now on clearance. It goes for $30 and I bought it for 20. So they also have a cool looking Goblin which recreates 121, which is kind of cool too. So anyway, I thought all the new Spider-Man memorabilia would be good to get your reactions from it. Glad to see JR does not like dinosaurs and hates them.
Well, I did when I was 5, but and as you can tell by all the toys I have, I've obviously grown up. So
Not.
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever too old for dinosaurs.
No.
Dinosaurs are awesome.
Right.
All right, we're gonna lead with Josh because I think this is the biggest story Spider-Man related. Is the casting of Sadie Sink from Stranger Things has been cast in the next Spider-Man
Wait.
movie with Tom
No,
Holland.
Wait,
this
now
is
I'm
me.
confused. I thought that was
That's
mine.
Kelly.
Kelly's got that one. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she does.
Yeah, you tagged me in this one, and it was my only story. If I don't need to
Oh,
be here, I'm gone. I
I
can go to bed.
apologize. It is Kelly. I
You
thought
had
it was
one
Josh.
job, Brad.
Yeah, thanks. All right, Kelly, you got this one. Take it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, there's not much to it. You already said it. Basically, Sadie Sink, who has starred in Fear Street and Stranger Things, and was in the movie with The Whale, is reportedly joining Tom Holland in Spider-Man 4 in an unannounced role. It's kind of sparked speculation. A lot of people think her character is named Jean or Jane with a J, aka either Jean Grey or a alt universe Mary Jane. There's also been some throw arounds with maybe Jean DeWolf, which would be interesting.
She seems kind of young.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Sony. They just use names.
That's true.
So,
Good point.
That's
you know,
true.
who knows? She could just be a journalism student. That we don't know. But yeah, so it's a interesting thing right now. Obviously, too, the fan, because we don't know who she is. Bunch of fans have thrown things in the ring. I think I've seen a couple of Spider-Girl fans try to claim her as Mayday, Annie. It's right now we don't know. I think Brad, when we talked about it, you had said Black Cat, which Possible. Also, Gwen Stacy. Nobody's brought up Gwen Stacy, and let's be fair, Sony has a tendency to make the redheads dye their hair blonde and make blondes dye their hair red. So there's a lot there. We don't know yet, and we'll see when she's on set.
Kelly, what's your gut? Who is she? If you were betting money on a character, who do you think she is?
I would have to go with either Gwen or a alt universe Mary Jane. I don't know what the stories like. I really don't even know what story they're going to use. I know that they're not. I know that this is not going to be necessarily super connected to Doomsday, but I also feel like there's going to be some reverb from the MCU films still, because they are still in the same universe. So we'll see. I don't necessarily think she's going to be Jean Grey. I don't think they're going to put the X-Men in a Sony film, because that's the thing I think everyone's kind of off track with. But I could definitely see an alt-universe Mary Jane, because it's not, or even just her name being Mary Jane, because it's not like Michelle Jones was Mary Jane. She was Michelle Jones. So we'll have to see what's happening here. She might be like a Spider-Gwen kind of Gwen character. I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. Like, I have no idea.
From what I understand, this Spider-Man 4 comes in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yes.
And so whatever that means, it's probably playing off of the Doomsday storyline, obviously.
Or Secret Wars Battle World is basically what that this could, because
so I'm curious to go around the horn to get everyone's speculation. We'll start with Mike. Name a character. Who's she playing? Who's your guess?
So I'm kind of with Kelly on this. I think it's going to be an alternate universe version of Mary Jane. I think it's basically because they're going to have like a thing where Peter's like in a version of. I kind of speculate, what if they put him in like a version of the 616 comic universe that's more accurate. The other name I seen banded around, and I think you'll love this, Brad. Somebody suggested Firestar.
Oh yeah,
I did hear Firestar.
Yeah, somebody suggested that. Yeah.
Sony does have Firestar, I believe.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
So your gut is Mary Jane, backup Firestar.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Christina, who's your bet?
A couple of things. Sadie Sink was rumored to be playing Jean Grey a long time ago. But the problem is, if they were to do that, they would have to give Laura Schuler-Donner producer credit for being on X-Men related stuff. And so I don't think she's going to be Jean Grey, and I didn't know Sony might have had Firestar. So it's now rumored that she's playing Mary Jane. The question is she going to be like Earth 616 Mary Jane, or a variant of Mary Jane? And then now the word on the street is that Spider-Man 4 is going to be set during Doomsday, and so it may not tie directly into Doomsday because it take place during the same time. So,
Josh, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna go same as Mike said, and pretty much everyone has said now, either Mary Jane or Firestar.
Okay, Sarah.
I also agree, Mary Jane, some version of her.
JR.
I don't really haven't given it a whole lot of thought, because by the time 2026 rolls around, it'll be 5 years since the last Spider-Man movie. And frankly, I've lost my enthusiasm for the Marvel movies. But until Kelly and Christina were bringing up some of the legal issues, I was thinking Jean Grey, only because they got to start introducing some of these characters in before they get to the Secret Wars, and that was the way to do it. But I think those two ladies have probably have mentioning the legal stuff that probably precluded from happening. I don't think it's Mary Jane. I don't think I don't know. I don't think I think they would give her if she's going to be a love interest. I think she'd be an entirely different love interest. I would guess I would almost go on the Firestar bandwagon.
Okay, George, who do you think it is?
I'm not entirely sold on it being a new Mary Jane, because I think Sony is way too proud of their non-white MJ that's not Mary Jane. I think they're probably too proud of that to let that go. But I don't know. I'm disappointed because I bit hard on the whole Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat rumor. And that's that. I focused on that. That was my truth, Brad. I made that my truth, and I'm paying the price for it now.
Okay. I'm looking at it from a couple angles. I don't think that she'll be Mary Jane. I think Zendaya fills the role just fine. There's obviously chemistry, so much so that they're damned engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think they need to repeat that character. I think Sony wants someone to break out of this movie and make more movies because Craven can't do it. I think you would have more people go to a Spider-Gwen movie than a Black Cat movie. I think it makes sense for her to be Black Cat, though, personally, because I think it just makes more sense to have a love interest of him being drawn to Black Cat as opposed to should I tell Zendaya who I am. But
well, Black Cat would make sense because she was with Spider-Man romantically for so long.
Yeah.
In the regular comic, you know, I mean, really, it was just a handful of years, but for Spider-Man, that's a long time.
I'm drawn by the fact that they've never done Black Cat, with the exception of the Garfield movie.
Right.
They've done Gwen before in live action, so that's why I'm kind of like, I don't think it's going to be Gwen. That's why I'm drawn to Black Cat as my answer.
Before they said that it was going to be sandwiched between Doomsday and Secret War, I thought Black Cat was going to show up because that would be a normal, you know, like everybody's forgotten who he is, his girlfriend's forgotten who he is. And oh wow, here's this sexy young lady who enjoys the nightlife. And but now they're going to put it into there. I think it's got to feed into that. In that we wouldn't see a Black Cat until later. But
Kelly, back to you a little bit. The internet is definitely pointing her as Mayday. I don't think that's a story that they would tell with such a young Tom Holland seeing his daughter. I just don't think that's a story that they would do.
That would be if they were doing Spider-Verse, which they're not. And that's kind of, like I said, I've seen some crazy fan theories. I'm more of the idea. It's like either another Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy as like a Spider-Gwen kind of situation, or Black. I do think Sadie Sink could be Black Cat. I think that would, especially with Tom Holland, because you don't want her to look older than him, and he, Tom has a very youthful face, even nearing.
Even though he's pushing 30 now.
He's close, yeah. So, but the thing is I mean, Sadie's in her early 20s, so like I said, it could work. I think my big thing with it is she could also just be a character we don't expect. Like I said, journalism student. Somebody in the comments had brought up Carly Cooper, which, but at the same time, again, it'd be. This is the thing with Sony. Just because they use a name does not mean that it is the character we know.
Right.
And and it could be a good way and a bad way. Normally it's bad, but maybe since Carly's kind of terrible, this could work out. I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm like, I truly have no idea because I don't know what direction they're going to take this story in. I'm honestly really shocked that they're even filming this at all. Because I feel like they ended the trilogy in a good place. That kind of well, I mean, it was sad for Peter, but like story wise, it was a good place to leave Spider-Man until the next time. This even though it'll be 5 years, it's very soon for me. And the fact that like they were supposed to divest and diverge from Marvel, which I would prefer, just because to me the Marvel movies at this point is starting. You're getting way too fatigued. It shouldn't. There's no reason people should be going back 15 years to watch films, just to understand, and like all these TV series just to understand the next movie. So that's kind of where I'm like, I want them to step back. I want a Spider-Man movie to be a Spider-Man movie. I'm hoping that that's still going to be the case here, but we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I don't really care who Sadie plays. She's a great actress, and I'm sure she'll do a fantastic job with a possibly mediocre script, but hopefully it's better.
If also, Sony probably has a mandate because all 3 Spider-Man movies had somebody from the MCU be in it. We had Iron Man, we had Nick Fury, we had Doctor Strange. I imagine that's part of the contract. They have to have some team up in the film from an MCU.
Yeah.
Everyone
be
thought it was
together.
going to be Daredevil before this smack dab in the middle of Doomsday and Secret Wars
Yeah.
or whatever. Who do you
I-
think it'll be now then?
I could still see the Defenders because they are setting that up with Disney Plus, trying to bring the Defenders back and their series back. So I could see the plan being more street level with Spider-Man, and then it be more galactic with MCU. That's just the kind of the way it feels right now.
I would kill for like a Spider-Man Daredevil with Kingpin kind of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll never get that, but I would love for that.
I wouldn't. That part I wouldn't be so sure about, but that's just because I could see that happening a lot more than Mayday being.
I thought one of the rumors was that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk was going to show up in this.
Please.
Oh.
But make him ticked off Hulk. There's
mean,
never been Spider-Man Hulk interactions in any of the movies. They were at the funeral together, but they don't even talk. Anyway. Keeping along, moving on to another topic. Josh, I got confused. You've got the Doomsday, the casting.
Yes, the Doomsday cast has been released, kind of. Just scrolling through here. We have Thor, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Invisible Woman, Ant-Man, Yelena, U.S. Agent, Namor, Shang-Chi, Bucky Barnes, Shuri, the new Black Panther, The Thing, and then we have back to the old X-Men movies. We have Beast, we have Sentry from Thunderbolts, the new Falcon, Human Torch, Red Guardian, M'Baku, Ghost from Thunderbolts, Loki, Patrick Stewart as Professor X returning, Ian McKellen as Magneto. We have Nightcrawler and Mystique returning, as well as Cyclops and Channing Tatum again as Gambit, and Mr. Fantastic with Pedro Pascal. At the very end of this very long, I think it was like 5 hours or something, this live stream thing.
Interesting marketing thing that Marvel did recently with this.
Nothing but camping chairs.
It ends up with Robert Downey Jr. As Doctor Doom. However, what was it, a month or a bit ago or something, like where all these like promo art images got released, it was shown characters that are not in this list at all. There was Star-Lord, there was a bunch of the young Avengers of Wiccan and Speed, and Kate Bishop Hawkeye, and Vision in there as well. Hulk and She-Hulk there with his son Scar. A whole bunch of people. So in one of the interviews or articles I was reading, they said there's more to come. Like this is just what's been released for now. Of course, it's Marvel. Everyone's being secretive about it and saying, we're being very specific on how we do that and how we don't want anyone getting photographs. So the location work we're doing, we've picked those locations with that in mind as well. Everything's all hush hush because it's Marvel.
Couple things, Josh. Is Spider-Man in the movie? What's your bet? He's got he is. I mean, he's really. If he's in between the two Avengers movies, he's got to be.
I think it might be something along the lines of how Endgame was, because it was really hard to do the Far From Home advertising with Endgame not out yet. Like they couldn't really advertise how this movie was even going to happen. I think it's going to be a similar thing like that, where we might not know if Spider-Man's in it or if he is in it. We don't know how it plays or how the new movie is actually going to fit within this until the movie, we actually watch the movie.
And also, Josh, is there anybody that was cast in the film that you were surprised about?
No, I didn't expect
the X-Men. The X-Men was a big surprise for me.
I honestly thought this was coming.
Okay.
Once we had, okay, they buy Fox, and we have Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine, and we've already had, Patrick Stewart as a version of Charles Xavier in the multiverse. I did kind of expect that to go back. That being said, I was stoked to find out that I'm finally getting Cyclops again back in the films.
And
Beast
Gambit.
again.
I was stoked about Gambit
yep.
too.
I just need to say,
Yes, Kelly.
the Channing Tatum finally getting his vindication and finally
Right.
getting to be
Mhm.
Gambit after all these years with the cast he was supposed to be Gambit with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of
Mhm.
great. But where is Anna Paquin?
Oh.
Good question. Yeah.
Yeah. What, Christina? Yeah, go ahead.
Couple of things. Anna Paquin's actually been sick. She's got something wrong with her.
Oh.
She's we're Kane hardly talking, so I don't know if they're going to be able
Really?
to get her. Yes.
I didn't hear she was sick.
And then, as far as Tom Holland goes, right now he's
Yeah.
shooting the Odyssey with Christopher Nolan. But there's a word coming out, rumor tonight, that he could be getting ready to sign on for Doomsday, and they just haven't announced him yet. But then
They're actually filming primaries for Spider-Man right now. It's like so they're doing the pre-production, and in about 6 weeks they'll be filming the new movie in Atlanta. At least principal photography. So like, yes, like he is with Christopher Nolan right now, but then he's immediately heading to Atlanta.
Mhm.
So, and they are notorious for filming side by side simultaneously.
right.
If there are scenes for Marvel.
Mhm.
But
I would not be surprised if he's already recorded a little cameo at the end credits of Fantastic Four.
What
Tom
struck
Holland.
me? What struck me about the casting about this whole thing is who was not mentioned. No mention of any of the Eternals actors.
Right.
Because
Hey,
for
real quick
obvious
before the
reasons.
cat goes away, look at that. That's
Oh,
He has made me bleed my own blood like 4 times today.
Aw.
But he's been a good boy the last couple weeks. He's
Mhm.
been a lot less murdery.
good to see Linus. All right.
Right.
Bubba.
What were you saying again?
I'm just saying that the
Yeah.
announcement that the reveal is like who they didn't mention. They didn't mention any of the actors that were in the Eternals. So
Yep.
mhm.
No
obvious
Guardians.
Of course.
they didn't mention anything about Brie Larson. Because then again, they could announce her like and all the other Marvel's folks in the next round. But
yeah, well, she's actually in the West End not filming, but she's at the West End performing a play that's been going on for a few
Yep.
weeks.
right, yeah,
So again, this all could just be because they haven't officially stepped on set.
right.
Therefore, they're not announcing them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it also, to me, like I said, I could see. We know this is going to be a 2-parter, right?
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
This is
So
going to be
this-
Infinity War
Mhm.
Endgame situation again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we know that,
Mhm.
and this could just be here's the main principal cast for this film,
Yes.
and then
Oh,
we're
you
going
mean-
to cut over to everybody else in the second film because
Yep.
they're-
Wait a
that's
minute.
how
Do you
they're going
think
to be
there's going to be
brought together.
Doomsday Part 2 and then Secret Wars, or do you
No.
think?
No.
Secret Wars is part
Doomsday
2.
Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just like they did with Infinity War and
Okay.
Endgame.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
remember, the guy who played the guy who played Hawkeye, if his name is escaped me.
Renner.
He wasn't in-
Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah, he wasn't in Infinity War, but he was in Endgame. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and quite a prominent role in that too.
Yeah.
So and also same with Paul Rudd. So yeah, I think Kelly's right about that. They're huge. They want to kind of split they want to split them up, which makes sense. It's also why Benedict Cumberbatch has been announced either.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with
anyway,
any of the Guardians
Mhm.
characters at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if anyone's going to return from the Guardians, it's got to be Star-Lord.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet you he makes an appearance in one of the 2 Avengers movies for sure.
Mhm.
All right. Let's move on to a topic for George. George, DC and Marvel coming back together for a crossover, huh?
What it is?
What'd you say? Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Hello?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Gotcha.
Hello?
You're there. You're there.
Anyway. So hang on, let me get over there to my actual have this pulled up. Because I can't remember this name. Molly Yavins, who is the DC editor-in-chief. not
Okay.
Molly, Marie Javens, who I've been so out of the loop on, I didn't even know who DC's editor in chief was anymore. That's how little DC's been on my radar. But yeah, her and Cebulski came out and gave a joint announcement that there will be a DC and Marvel crossover event this year. It will be 2 books, Marvel and DC Marvel. That's all we know.
Mhm.
They didn't announce who's going to be in it. No, know who's writing it, who's drawing it. That's it.
I think it'd be a lost opportunity because we're looking at Jim Lee art for the recent reprinting of the crossovers from the 70s to the 90s.
I'll tell you, art-wise, I mean, this is whoever takes this on. The last thing that fans really remember from Marvel and DC, it's not Amalgam because Amalgam was trash. It's it's
Avengers and JLA.
It's JLA Avengers, and that had George Perez.
God, rest in peace. He's not with us anymore. And
Yeah.
who can draw a lot of characters per page?
I don't know what he's doing anymore, but you know who used to be fairly good with that in a way that Perez was Phil Jimenez back in the day.
I was thinking Jim Lee, but then again, that would take too long.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if they could meet
yeah.
his page rate.
I know, right?
guarantee
That's
you
what I mean.
He gets
yeah.
more than 160.
I mean, Jim Lee would sell books. I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah, it
is
would.
going to sell.
Brad,
Do they do one big 4-issue Marvel versus DC? If I know them, they want to spread it out like Batman versus Spider-Man and stuff like that.
They've said 2 books.
They said 2 books. That's
They
it.
said there's
Okay.
going. I even gave you the titles: Marvel DC and DC Marvel.
There's
so-
no sides. Okay.
2 books: Marvel/DC, DC/Marvel.
Okay.
And I don't know. Now here's the thing. Fandom, you have already shown to them that you're willing to pay $10 for a damn comic book.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So these will probably be large comic books, 100-page or whatever, that
That's
they're
what I
going
was
to charge you
thinking too,
$10
yeah.
for.
Mhm.
So good on you for that.
I'd read it. I've read it before. What I'm excited about of this is the last time we had a crossover of this nature, Ben Reilly was fighting in it, in the amalgam and stuff like that. It'd be nice to have the actual Peter Parker back. We haven't had that since the 70s in a Spider-Man and Marvel team up. So, do you guys remember that in the 90s? It was Ben Reilly.
Oh yeah. Because
was right
fighting
in the middle-
Superboy. Because they're both
Yeah, he was
clones.
fighting Superboy. And it was the middle of the Clone Saga is when this
Yeah,
thing came out. So it was a
Wait.
bad time to be a Spider-Man
It was
fan.
garbage.
Well, too, was it? Because this is when they did the like little Elseworlds mini comic with Cassandra Cain and Spider Girl fighting, and that
Yeah, I
was in
think
Wizard.
so.
Yeah,
think
it was
that
in
was
it was
it,
a
yeah.
Wizard mini. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So and then just before that, there was the amalgam comics.
Well, we
Mhm.
did have
So-
a good Spider-Man and Batman versus Joker and Carnage book. Mark Bagley, that was good.
There was
Back
there was a good Spider or Batman and Spider-Man crossover too with Kingpin.
That
Right.
DC did, I think.
Yeah.
I actually like that one better than the Joker Carnage one.
'Cause
Mhm.
I don't think you're a Carnage fan.
Well, but I mean I've come around on symbiotes more or less.
Really? I
We've
didn't know
already
that.
we've covered this before. I enjoyed the Venom movies. You know, I talked.
Oh,
about
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
But so I'm not nearly as anti-symbiote as I was back in the day, but no, I mean just overall it was better told. I think it was better written.
JR, refresh me. You picked up that Spider-Man versus Superman Treasury back in the 70s, if memory serves, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this? I know you've been there before.
Don't care.
You
Don't care anymore.
Oh.
Really?
Back then it was really special, and it was a special. I mean, you've seen it. The Treasury editions were just a real cool thing back in the day, and the Gil Kane art was just superb. This shit is just cash grabs. I don't give a shit anymore.
Anybody excited for this? I'll pick up the 2 books.
Yes, but how'd you like
Yeah,
to play, Mrs. Lincoln? Sorry, Kelly.
Who was
It's
talking?
fine. I mean, I'll pick it up.
I will
I'm
too.
kind of excited for it. I mean, it's
been a while.
yeah, it's been a while, and DC Comics really hasn't been too terrible. I mean, so to me, they're a little bit more consistent in a decent storytelling aspect than Marvel has been lately. So I'm interested to see how this is gonna meld.
I'm not reading any DC. What are you reading? Something that's good? You recommend anything from them?
No, I don't read it consistently.
Okay.
But
a lot of the absolute books have been actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly because there was a bit looking at Absolute Batman, also Absolute Martian Manhunter. The first issue was actually kind of a trip, which is actually surprisingly well done. So
yeah, Christina.
I'm a Wonder Woman fan, so I've been reading Absolute Wonder Woman, and that's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got a few issues. So Josh, you excited about this? All right. Mike.
Yes.
Guess what? Spider marriage talk. There you go.
Of course. Yeah.
Tom Brevoort went off on the spider marriage again.
Oh, yes, he did. Because, and now, for those of you who don't know, Brevoort has been around the Spider Office, has been around Marvel for quite a number of years. He was the guy that has wrote. I mean, he was actually one of Spider-Man's editors back during the Clone Saga, if I remember correctly. But he, one of those things when Brand New Day came out, he wrote a manifesto explaining what he thought Spider-Man should be, and one of them, of course, was Spider-Man should be about youth, and that the marriage had to go away because for reasons. But in any case, he has a Substack column, where he called The Man in the Hat, and one of the people that basically wrote into him to said, essentially saying, look, given the fact that Ultimate Spider-Man, which shows a married Peter Parker and Mary Jane with kids, is currently outperforming Amazing Spider-Man at the moment, shouldn't that be an indicator that's saying that maybe you guys should kind of course correct what's going on in Amazing? Well, Brevoort decided, no, he decided to give a very lengthy answer. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but he's essentially saying that basically what it is because but he doesn't believe that any such threshold because that's not what publishing Ultimate Spider-Man or New Values are like. It's all about. Those are test cases. They're alternatives for those who desire those alternatives. But I believe that we have concluded decisively that the best platonic ideal of Spider-Man is one that he is unattached, and that conclusion isn't going to be changed by a particular alternate interpretation momentarily performing well. And then he goes on about how saying that Amazing Spider-Man has been consistently selling well, and just because, Ultimate thing, and he basically ends up saying that, so pointing to Ultimate and concluding that the one and only factor contributing to its success is coincidentally the one factor that those fans would like changed about Amazing Spider-Man is working backwards from a desired conclusion. Well, as you can imagine, the internet blew up again because he got swarmed with all people from Substack on X and Blue Sky, where people basically arguing. Most of them were basically arguing, well, wait a minute. First of all, if you looked at the top 50 comics, single issues of 2024, Amazing Spider-Man isn't on any of them. Ultimate Spider-Man, every single issue of it is.
Wow.
They've also pointed out that essentially, the one guy says, well, I don't think the fact that Mary Jane basically going to an alternate dimension where she's basically having to, stay with the, making it cultural, where she's captured by a villain with cultural appropriation stuff or anything, going off about the whole dead languages thing in Paul, is necessarily ideal
story.
Yeah, which Brevoort on a surprisingly thing said, like, well, just because one lousy or bad story doesn't make for, so essentially admitting that yes, that Joe Kelly's dead languages was bad.
That quote was something, wasn't it? That he's saying that Zeb Wells' story wasn't a good story. That's
right.
What Kelly?
I just why are we even talking about some guy whose favorite issue of Spider-Girl is the one where Mayday was drawn in the shower?
Yeah.
A 16-year-old girl. And he wants to still defend it and claim that the fans were wrong in not liking the issue. Also, test cases. A 15-year comic run of Spider-Girl. Solid 15-year run. Is a test case?
Yeah.
It's a test case.
Oh yeah. I didn't say it was.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm mad. But
I know.
It's also,
yeah.
it's like, why am I respecting this guy's opinion when he clearly thinks it's okay to sexualize a 16-year-old girl in a comic book? And if he can't do that, then he doesn't want any of it.
Right.
I mean, that's really what this gets down to.
It also shows that even with all these recent comments that he's making too, and how it's like how kind of out of touch he's become, because he's just showing that he's been just stayed there, like maybe, get some new blood on this, because at this point he's just the way that they try to defend this. And again, yeah, for one more day, it's been like 15 years or going on to 20, as you've been saying, Brad, and people are still complaining about it. If they thought it was going to go away, it hasn't. If anything, it's just only intensified as time has moved on.
It kind of what was said last night on Satellites, and it was citing the sources, Neil. What he said was the 616 is stuck in a rut where nothing can change. They have to absolutely be Charlie Brown. The changes happen in the side books, the Ultimate Spider-Mans, the Spider-Girls, the other books where all the IPs can't be hurt by major changes. And as we just witnessed in the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, he died 4 or 5 times and we didn't feel it. Because even in the middle of one of his deaths, there was a double-page spread for coming up a new volume of the book. JR just mentioned that when we reviewed it. Brevoort's like the number 2 guy at Marvel, maybe number 3, isn't he? He's like a senior editor.
He's he's high up in the bullpen.
And it goes to show that high up, I think, is out of touch of what the fans want. I think it's a time for new blood in the offices, and I don't know what it will take unless we stop buying the crap.
There's also the thing you also have to kind of take into consideration too, is because where the state of Spider-Man is right in, how their whole Marvel's, ownership of the IP, shall we say, because they don't fully own the rights to Spider-Man, and Sony still does. So maybe there's also some, and also again, there was some dictates where Marvel can't do certain things with Spider-Man. I think there was one panel, a couple of months back, where it was kind of revealed that when we're talking to the creators of Spider-Gwen, and they were asking him about why didn't do any more villains with it. Well, they said, well, because the thing is, because Spider-Man's still co-owned by Sony, we can't really create new things for them. So
and that's the weird thing. Is like, Brad, Neil, and I have always, gone back to this, like, okay, you're in the Charlie Brown thing, but like nobody ages in Charlie Brown. Nobody ages in The Simpsons. Yeah. But, in this, it's like, well, some do, some don't. Spider-Man can't move forward, but Mary Jane
moved forward several months.
Have a new guy and kids that end up dying, but like some characters actually grow up. Like Miles is growing up, but then he stops again, and then Peter perpetually stuck at 27.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Sorry, I was on mute. But Peter Parker is essentially now Peter Pan. He can't grow up. He can't move on. Everybody else can. The thing about Brevoort is, like, if you talk to him 15 years ago, this was a totally different thing. It's like now that he's got the Marvel Entertainment Disney blinders for the last decade, he's not getting his head out of his butt. And I don't know, like, at this point, he needs to take a step back and really understand he's too much in the sauce. He's been drinking the Kool-Aid, and this is not it anymore. I think that, at the end of the day, we realize the Spider offices have a bubble. And it's basically them against us, them against everything. And they will blame Sony, which that's not even the agreement. Like, all of that legal stuff's online. You can go read it. That's not the agreement. The agreement is they continue to produce IP content. Now, it could be that it's in a stunted state because they got bought by Disney. Yeah. But still, okay, like then it's Disney characters.
Mhm.
Like, okay, all right, but like the whole point is that's not stopping them from creating. Their entire
Mhm.
job at this point is to create IP, so they should be creating new characters. But them sitting there saying that they can't, or saying that they have to continue to be in this loop over and over again,
Mhm.
is literally just lazy writing. And it's
Mhm.
because they will not accept any sort of criticism and grow as a team.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I will get off my soapbox now, but
Oh yeah.
You're fully right.
No,
Like,
Brevoort
yeah.
and me, I have a hairpin
Mhm.
trigger because of certain things he has said over the last decade about Spider-Girl that to me has felt like a slap in the face.
And I think it also the other thing too, and the other thing too is going back to, I think when we even touched upon this in the review show, essentially look at the state where comic books are. I mean, there are certain things. I mean, if you again going back to what that what comic books are kind of getting into the top thing, it is the more ultimate Spider-Man types. It is also these other comics like which usually like, and again, it's the other stuff like the DC's Absolute line and the Marvel's new Ultimate line are following suit. They're doing things that are kind of like in trying to basically taking these characters that have been around for a long time and trying to do like more innovative things with that you couldn't necessarily do in their current continuities. And people are gravitating toward, and if people are still going towards comics, they're gravitating towards that. That's what the market is right now. And the fact that you still got this Amazing Spider-Man, which it's still stuck in amber continuously because they have this whole thing where, you know, that it's stagnated at this point. And again, everyone knows it's stagnated and they can't really, and for whatever reason, you know, even Brevoort's comment comes like, oh, if I could sell this thing, you know, how many copies do I think we would come up with it? Well, yeah, but you see how that can be done. But you refuse to do it because of this.
Before we move on to the topic, I want to hear JR's thoughts on this topic, what Brevoort said and what you think of it.
Well, first of all, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. I don't know why people keep asking these questions of these people and think that logic or rationality or anything is going to change their mind, that somehow they're going to come up with some great argument that Brevoort and company are going to go, oh yeah, you're right. No, they have too much invested in this. They have too much invested in, first of all, they despise us. They don't understand us. They despise us. It's fake. They don't understand why these characters mean so much to us. They don't get it. And the fact that we push back at all offends them, you know, and they despise us even more for pushing back. And to be honest, it isn't just Marvel Comics; it's the entertainment industry as a whole. You know, so you know they despise the fan base. They think the fan base is stupid. They're going to give the people a certain product and they're going to like it. But Spider-Man offers in particular, they've invested so much in this argument over the last few years, and they're probably embarrassed the fact that people won't let it go. They probably really did think people were going to let it go, and people haven't. Yeah. And they can't and will not admit it, and will not give us the satisfaction of admitting it. So
Low even
stop. I mean, it's like stop asking them the questions.
Low even in the comment
give us a different answer.
Low in the letters pages even says it's a very minor majority. He said that in the letters pages.
Mm-hmm.
And the internet is such a minor majority.
That's what they want to believe. That's what they want to believe.
100%.
Yeah. But
I haven't heard George's 2 cents on this either. Let me hear George's thoughts on Brevoort. He doesn't have high opinions, I know, of Mr. Brevoort.
I do not. So I won't say much. I feel like I've spent the better part of my time at Crawlspace discussing in one way or another. So
this will lead into your next topic, which is how they make the sausage at Marvel. And George, take this one about how little they're paid as creators. Actually, Josh has to jet. I apologize, Josh.
Yeah, I will just kind of say one last thing here is, I'm a student of science. I literally have a bachelor's of science degree. So this is my kind of take from it with that background. We have qualitative data of hundreds and hundreds of people writing in to Marvel saying, we hate this garbage, stop printing this, fix this. And we have quantitative data now of showing that Amazing Spider-Man, none of it is appearing in the top 50 comics. We have qualitative and quantitative data. At this point, it's like Jair says, stop asking them questions. They don't care. Neither should you. Just enjoy what you like. And that's it. Because nothing's going to change.
You really are Peter Parker. Well, look at your science nerd coming out. I like that, man. You really are the guy behind the mask. I love it.
There's an old saying that says, it's the overall quote itself is meant to sort of highlight when the state's lying to you. And it says, they're lying to us. We know they're lying to us. They know we know they're lying to us. They still lie to us.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Marvel has become. And honestly, that's what Marvel's been for many years now.
Yes. Josh, it's been a pleasure, my friend. And you have a good night, and we will talk to you later, buddy.
See you soon.
See you, Josh.
All right. Speaking of the people that quote unquote lied to us, they aren't paid very much to lie to us, it sounds like. George, how's that for a segue?
Yes, I know this will shock you all that a giant corporation, giant corporations like Disney and Warner Brothers, do not pay their talent what they're worth. So, and I forgot what kicked this off. This became like every now and then this kind of thing gets kicked off. There was something that recently happened that it kicked this off. I don't remember what it was.
I think it was an artist was ticked off on social media or something about the low page rates or something like that.
Yeah. I forget which one it was though.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to recall.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact person, but
I remember reading about it and I was like, I haven't heard of this person before. But so according to this article at Bleeding Cool, Big Two, again, that would be Marvel and DC, owned by Disney and Warner Brothers, respectively. Big Two pencil to start at $160 per page, totaling $38,400 annually without benefits. Selling original art can add $15,000 to $20,000, enhancing overall income significantly. Now you understand why back in the day there was such a push for artists to start getting their art back.
Yeah, it's extra money.
Yeah, that was all the way going back to like the 60s and 70s.
Kirby wanted a bunch of his Marvel art back. He lost a lot of it, I've heard.
Yeah, I think they finally wound up giving it to the Kirby family, or a lot of it back to the Kirby family. I can't remember. That was a while back. But convention work, commissions, and covers offer additional income pathways, and creator-owned comics provide future prospects. Digital adaptation varies your income. So if you're an artist, what you really want to do is you want to become the next Eric Larson or Todd McFarlane. And then
you get all the profits of all the book. Yeah,
then be able to, or Jim Lee, and then just be able to start your own thing, and then just make your own money. Away from the Big Two. So $38,400 annually. I don't think you could even live in New York City for that.
You can't.
And I mean that's not in today's age of space age polymers and putting people on the moon and whatnot. That's nothing. $38,000, that's nothing.
I think I read an article the other day. To be considered middle class, you have to make at least $100,000 in some areas.
Yeah.
And New York is one of the most expensive places, but these artists aren't living in New York.
No, they're not. They're having to live in cheaper places and fax in their work.
Maybe not even in the United States.
Send in their pages.
I think I remember seeing one of those Disney Plus special things. I forget the artist that used to be was doing the artist was commissioned to do for Dan Slott's run on Iron Man. He was living out of he travels around in an RV. And so it's just like that's basically just as
that's cheaper than
New York, definitely.
I mean, $38,000, and that's without benefits. So don't get sick.
Right.
Don't get sick. So that's
what's your thoughts on this, George? It's a matter of do the books not provide enough income, or are they just being greedy, or is it a little bit of both? Probably.
This is corporations. This is corporate greed. This is Marvel Disney and Warner Brothers could absolutely pay these people a living wage. They won't do it. And this is the way that the industry has been since there has been an industry. And remember when J. Jonah Jameson in the first Spider-Man movie keeps telling Peter, "No, freelance."
Yeah.
That's where all the money. That's what they do. That's how they screw you when you're doing this kind of work, because you're not an employee. When you're not an employee, you can't form a union to try to change things, and they don't have to pay you benefits. So yeah, could they? Absolutely. Will they? Probably not. Probably never will.
And this is why when they're charging, $200, $300 for a piece at a convention, you should probably not complain about the price. They need it to survive, and honestly, it is worth it because their art is worth it. It is art. But this is, I mean, George is right. This is the way corporations work. I mean, this is the way most tech companies want everybody to be at this point. It's kind of what Elon Musk is doing to our government. But the whole point is, it's basically everything needs to be freelance. Everything means no benefits for anybody, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and there's no support.
Well, what gets me too is I think they were also going.
I agree with you, Kelly.
Yeah. Well, this is also getting to a point too, is like the thing is, I think that they were also talking about, even though, I think the guy who originally set this off saying like, well, DC at least pays a little bit more compared to Marvel does also. Because Marvel is like, apparently they've become now have this very notorious reputation of not paying their artists enough. So that figure that you read off, George, that's the best case scenario for these guys that are basically getting their work by commission. I mean, in some cases they may not even get that $38,000 a year. That's if they're lucky. That's if they basically get like they're fully, like if they're on like a regular series that's actually maybe selling well.
Now here's the only way that kind of thing is going to change. And even then it's a huge if. Stop working for them. Be an illustrator for somebody else or for other things. Start doing concept artwork for video games. Well,
whatever.
That's a dying industry too.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why. But if you go back, that's kind of the thing where, to be fairness, that's kind of where all the image artists kind of decided to do why they jump ship is because they could try to do they could
That's
do
a story 30 years old with image.
I know, but it's still going, but it's still happening.
But I mean, like that's the way they need to start learning to hang up when Marvel and DC call. And be like, oh no, sorry. Call me when you're ready to actually pay me what I'm worth. Click.
But we all have a love, and the people that are into the industry grew up with Spider-Man and Batman and Superman. And when you hear, hey, you get to draw Spider-Man, hey, that's cool. That's my childhood hero. How are you going to turn that down? Until you got a mortgage payment coming your way,
right? Yeah, that's the thing. It is exposure for these guys to basically draw the more kind of like the top tier,
and the big two know that it's an attractive thing to draw Spider-Man and Batman and Superman. And here's a question: do the writers make less than the artists, or do they make more? No, there's no numbers that we've seen about the writers. Kelly,
actually, that time that Wiseman was hacked and that person posted his paycheck, it wasn't a whole lot.
I didn't know he got hacked. What
it was I think a year and a half ago.
On Spectacular Spider-Man.
I can't remember what book it was. It was just something that got posted for a comic that he was moonlighting.
Did it sound similar to these rates?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. It's not a lot. Because I remember, because it was like, I make more than that in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But because again, these guys are they're contracted there, but they're not employees. That's how.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Think about it, Brad. I mean, what's the easier route? How many stories could you write in a month? How many can you draw? So yeah, if I was a writer, I'd be out there. Oh, here's my 10. 10
well, that's what Bendis did. He used to write 3, 4, 5 titles, get them out.
I know, and the quality was awful.
Yeah, yeah. You could tell the one he liked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You could tell the one he liked.
I think that the writers too, because they're also considered freelance. I'm sure that they get paid per story.
Yeah.
So,
this will lead into another about creators. one of my all-time favorite writers is Peter David. He has been sick for 3 years. Very expensive medical bills. And he has been, I guess he makes too much for Medicaid or something like that. So he's no longer on Medicaid. They are doing another GoFundMe. I think he had another one with a similar amount of a goal. And again, medical costs are not cheap, and they blew through that. So again, he's doing another GoFundMe. If you want to help, the co-creator of Spider-Man 2099, the co-creator of one of my, it is my favorite Hulk run as the writer. He wrote my favorite Hulk for 10 plus years. He also wrote The Death of Jean DeWolf with Spectacular Spider-Man. He wrote so many very, very good stories. And with our healthcare system, he can't afford medical care.
And if you've watched any sci-fi TV shows, you have seen this man's work.
Yeah, no doubt. He did Babylon 5, etc. So currently, 68% of his goal. If you would like to donate to Peter David, if you're listening to the audio version of it, it's GoFundMe.com/F/help-Peter-David. I'll put a link that you guys can do it. Actually, I will put it in chat right here. Oh, no, that's not the right address. Let me put it up here. Anybody else have a favorite Peter David story that he's written?
Oh gosh.
The cover of the Commuter. That's one of my
yeah,
favorites.
that's a good one.
There you go. There's
weirdly enough, I
chat.
kind of liked his Incredible Hulk the End one shot that he did.
Yeah.
Granted, it's super dark, but it's but
the
it's
only
really,
things that survived
really
were
story.
cockroaches. And
Yeah,
Hulk,
it's a
and
really
they both
good.
had
but
to
it's-
fight. That was
But
great.
it's a really good character study of Bruce Banner and the Hulk in a way in miniature essentially. But hey, I know
First
I've also
appeared
read
in
a lot
that
of
Ultimate Hulk prose book in the 90s.
He's also done I remember he actually did some pretty decent Star Trek Next Gen novels. Actually.
Oh gosh, his Star Trek New Frontier. I actually revisiting that on my iPad. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, if you want to help out Peter David, there is the link in our chat. It's also scrolling on the lower bottom of your screen.
He also wrote Imzadi for Star Trek. That was
that's
the
what
big
I mean.
Riker Troy books.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That one.
He
really
was
good
the
too.
very first celebrity I ever had on the Crawlspace. I think episode 5 or 6 he was on. He's come back several times over the years to talk to the Crawlspace. Even a video when we started doing video, I had him on for video. Very, very nice guy. I've met him in person. Had him sign a couple of my books. So much love to Peter David and his family. And if you can help out, if you have the means to help out, please do. I think it will be very nice to do that.
I remember I vehemently defended him way back in the day, back when JR and I did stuff for Hero Realm back in the day, because he started writing for Chaos at one point, Chaos Comics from back in the day.
Is that Lady Death?
Yeah, the Lady Death stuff and Purgatory. And he started writing, he started doing some stuff for them. And some of the people on our forums back in the day, they took umbrage at that because those were just TNA comics. And I was like, if that's your opinion, you've obviously never read them. There's actually a very big story here. It's not like the guy that drew Catwoman for a long time, Jim Ballant. He does like TNA stuff, But and I'm not saying that's bad if that's what you want. I'm just saying there's actually a mythos and a whole universe here with
Lady Death
interesting
and
things. Yeah,
Evil Ernie. I remember that.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I used to defend him, and people pointing out, yeah, well, what about this here on this page? And I'm like, yeah, but actually read what's being said, for God's sake.
Peter David in the 90s made me go read Supergirl and Young Justice.
Yep.
I'm a Marvel guy, but I'm also a fan of good writing, and Peter David took me over there. So another great Peter David story. Before Bendis's and Bagley's Ultimate Spider-Man, there was a short story book put out.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Chi-Town and I talk about this one all the time. It's called 5 Minutes, which is a Peter and Mary Jane story. It's a prose story that's really, really good. Spider-Man has to go out. I'll be back in just 5 minutes. I just love that story. I haven't read it in years, but I still remember standing out that was one of the best stories. He also, in that book, him and Stan Lee tried to modernize the
origin story.
AF-15, and they were trying to make that the script for the new Spider-Man book, and they eventually Spider-Man movie pre-Tobey Maguire. So I remember that. So again, help Peter David out. Christina, you got this last one, and then your last one, and then you got to head out. We're going back to the movie debate here. Not only is Sadie Sink in there, they're also allegedly looking for an older female antagonist. Talk about that in the Spider-Man 4 movie.
Well, rumor is that that they're looking at somebody from Succession with the initials of SS, and they're thinking Sarah Snook, however you say her name. I'm not familiar with her, and they're not sure who it is. It could be Black Cat, Silver Sable, Screwball, Queen. No. But then a few days later, after this article, the word on the street now is that Chameleon's going to be the main bad guy because it keeps changing so much. So,
okay.
So they're thinking making Chameleon female.
I don't know. It was the female villain. First, it was the rumor about Noel being in it, and then it was street level, and now they were doing the female villain, and now it's Chameleon. So it seems to change all the time.
I think this originated from a casting call, is what I originally think I saw. Go, Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was just gonna say, if it is like the servants lady, y'all remember where the speculation for the first for Homecoming was almost every single actor, old and young, was some super important character, and then we find out that they're literally just playing like a science teacher.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When it comes to the older characters, it might not be that important. That it might be the lady from Severance, but she's playing like a college admissions person.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't they show that picture of Anne Hathaway? Wasn't Anne Hathaway supposed to play the Vulture's daughter? From
Yes.
Yeah.
She's gonna be
Spider-Man?
she's gonna be Felicia Hardy playing the Vulturess.
Yes.
That was Spider-Man 4. Yeah.
And
we dodged
Vulture was
bullet
supposed to be Lithgow. No, not John Lithgow,
John Malkovich.
but Malkovich.
Yeah, Malkovich.
Malkovich, yeah.
John Lithgow would actually be a scary Vulture.
Yeah, I know, right?
That'd be
what
terrifying.
about? Do we like a female antagonist for Spider-Man? He doesn't really have any, in my opinion, any ones that stand out in my head in the comics to draw from.
I mean, if you think about it, for a while there, Black Cat was an antagonist.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kafka's kind of an antagonist now.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Kafka. And then, I mean, for all we know, it could be Janine DeWolf again. I mean, that rumor keeps sticking to this movie, and I don't know why.
The one I saw that they're talking about a lot is who's the gal that and I like Paul Jenkins, but I hated this character, the Queen.
Oh
And-
god.
Yeah.
And didn't she come back for Spider Island?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one. I don't think anybody's clamoring for that to come back.
No, but Sony does have the character right. So
They do.
Trust
yeah.
Obey in chat is saying Silver Sable.
Oh, that would be interesting. I
Never
guess.
an antagonist, though.
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
I mean, they've crossed paths before where they're at odds over something, but not really an antagonist.
Anyway, Christina, any thoughts? A female antagonist who you would like to see? If Princess Python, perhaps? His very first female antagonist from the Ditko runs?
A deep cut there.
Well,
That is a
honestly,
deep cut.
It's hard to say because the rumors are changing all the time on who the villain is going to be for this movie. Because, like I said, at one point they were rumored to be crossing over with Venom, and it was going to be Null. Then they said it was going to be a multiverse story. Then there's this. It's from the same scooper, Jeff Snyder. He's the one that said that Sadie Sink was going to be Jean Grey, and then he's like, no, she's actually Mary Jane. And then he's the one that also said that they were looking to cast a female villain, and now he's saying no, it's the Chameleon a few days after that. So
We just
honestly,
had
I
the
don't
Chameleon
know.
in Craven. It's not like
Right.
I don't know, but nobody saw
Yeah.
Craven.
Mhm.
Well, except
So-
it's trending on Netflix though. I heard.
Netflix.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's in the top 10 consistently. People are like,
Oh.
Netflix.
Apparently
People are
it's
turning into
doing-
Craven.
Apparently, it's doing better than Daredevil Born Again, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be honest. It was on the Delta flight, and I
Mhm.
almost debated on it, and then I
Yeah.
decided,
It's
nah,
not
I'm not
horrible.
spending
It's
my.
not
I'm
horrible.
not spending that 2 hours on it though.
It's not horrible. It's not Morbin time.
Very average movie.
Okay.
All right. Well, Christina, thanks for staying up late with us and breaking down the
Yep.
news. Always good to talk to you.
Bye,
And
Christina.
thanks for
Thanks.
surviving the 8 deaths of Spider-Man with us.
Yeah, until next time then.
Until next time. How's this for a segue? In our next topic, I'll take it.
Wait, Brett, before you
Yeah.
do that, it just struck me. How bad must you feel if you're Zeb Wells and
Oh.
and you're going through the news this week and you see where not even Tom Brevoort can bring himself to defend your work.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
The biggest
Yep.
shill, like when you look up shill in the dictionary, there's a picture of Tom Brevoort.
But didn't we just establish though? They don't get paid enough, so do we
Right.
think he cares?
No,
Probably
I mean
He's
I mean,
probably just glad he doesn't have to. He's not in a contract anymore.
Probably
probably
scrolls
so,
through it
yeah.
on his phone and goes back to drinking.
yeah.
Next topic. Several Spider books have been canceled. Ryan Reed put this up and he said, hey, they're not in the solicits anymore. Spectacular Spider-Man by Greg Weisman is ending. Not been solicited past, I think, 15.
Yeah.
Spider-Boy, written by Dan Slott, is ending at 20.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the cover of the last issue of Spider-Man. And here's
That's
the
just
last.
too bad. That's just so unfortunate.
I mean, hey, I honestly thought Spider-Boy wouldn't make it to issue 11, so good job.
It just so happens if you go to threads.net, Ryan Reed, our Crawlspace reviewer on the front page, put this up. And guess who showed up in his reply section? Dan Slott.
Yep.
Dan Slott said, it's more like Spider-Boy Volume 1 is ending as opposed to being quote-unquote canceled.
They've always said that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like anytime they cancel something, Lois, no, it was only meant to go this long. They used to love to go to that whenever they canceled the Bendis book.
But I like
Here,
how
let me-
he puts in the truth at the very bottom. I understand he's trying to spin it positively, but no, even he, with his Marvel contract, went off to go write for DC.
Yes.
Think about that.
Let me read the quote. It says, it's more like Spider-Boy Volume 1 is ending as opposed to being canceled. Doesn't the period go in front?
Inside the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not
good,
a writer, though.
Yeah,
And it's
Dan
ending
Slott-
because I'm leaving the book to write a Superman ongoing series. I have faith that the character of Bailey Briggs and Spider-Boy will still be around, says Dan Slott.
We need to know Scourge. Thin out their ranks a little bit.
So,
Okay,
what are-
so did
Yeah,
he
go
have?
ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just reading the other comments. Did he have like his fanboys follow him to bolster his comment?
Yeah.
here
Yeah,
Because
well,
I noticed a lot of
Great. I've been
Oh,
enjoying
the-
Spider-Boy.
Likes on
no,
there,
like
yeah.
the one above saying
Yes.
people don't understand the difference between a run ending and it being canceled, and it makes my eye twitch so hard. Okay, hi. I read Spider-Girl. I remember how many times it was canceled. Guess what? It always ended on a high note because they always were given at least about an issue warning beforehand that they might not come back. It's not a volume 1. It got canceled. Just regardless whatever band-aid you put on it.
Right.
We've been advised no more issues right now. Oh my god.
Spider-Boy is peak compared to Spider-Man.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I'm like, unless these are all bots and this isn't really Dan Slott, or if Dan Slott bought a whole bunch of bots, like I don't.
They could all be Dan Slott, Kelly. They could all be sock puppets.
Spider-Boy has been my favorite monthly read in many, many years. So please, we got the run from you. Before this book, I haven't made it a habit to visit a comic shop every month for probably 20 years. Can't wait what happens next.
I mean, to be fair, Spider-Boy was better than what he was doing on Spider-Man. I guess that. Yeah.
No, it was cute. I'm still floored by how many comments are just really. I'm trying my best not to. I'm trying my best to sound positive and not go R-rated on what I want to say.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
man, they're laying it on thick on
I
what
know.
they would like
But
to do
wait.
to Dan Slott.
But wait, there 2 Spider titles die, 2 come back. Spider-Man and Wolverine is going to be an ongoing series written by Mark Guggenheim. To refresh your memory on Mark Guggenheim, he created Jackpot, the first version.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Also, back in 2020, Mark Guggenheim was hired by Sony to write a Jackpot movie, which never came about. And Mark Guggenheim also, I think he got in a little trouble with the fans when they were talking about Mary Jane. I don't want to misquote this. I'm gonna pull it back up.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I bookmarked it, but I don't think I can get it fast on the show. It was Mike. Do you have the quote?
I don't want to say what it is, but he's basically saying that he was that he's saying something about Mary Jane being assaulted and killed because he's making a reference to Identity Crisis, but that comic what happened to Sue Dibney. But I think this was back when basicly Brand New Day was first coming out, and they were asking about.
I've got the quote.
Yeah,
it was from it was from an interview. Oh, I need to cite the source though. That's not fair if I don't. Oh, okay. Let me get. It's not fair if I don't quote. Source. Okay. Okay. Here it is. I got it. Okay. Let me paste this. Okay, so this is an article over on Screen Rant, and they're talking about One More Day, etc. And CBR covered a Wizard World LA panel where the writers were discussing the web slinger, and several fans brought up One More Day. And when asked why Spider-Man hadn't simply divorced Mary Jane, writer Mark Guggenheim reportedly, allegedly, quote, I pitched having her raped, then murdered. And which Jim McCann replied, this isn't DC Comics.
Right, yeah, because Mark Guggenheim is making a joke about Identity Crisis because that's what happened to the character of Sue Dibney in that story.
The rape pages are in. The rape pages are in. Remember there was
So this goes to a little bit of what JR says about how they really don't care. I mean, they know we love Mary Jane. They know we love Spider-Man. And to make a joke like we're going to rape and murder her is just.
Oh yeah, it's crass.
I mean, it's awful. And anyway,
it shouldn't surprise you though from them.
It's just a bad joke. It's a bad. I don't know.
It's the mentality though.
It's the mentality is disturbing. That these are the people that are driving the ship.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, I've been calling it since the death of Miss Marvel. Because it's like, why was that in the Spider-Man comic other than just for women in fridge syndrome? Like that, it made no sense. And it's the same mentality. It just, who cares?
So we have that book coming out, Spider-Man and Wolverine, written by Mark Guggenheim from the Brand New Day pool of writers. We also have, we talked about this last on ASM Reviews, I think. All we had was, let me pull it up. All we had was this image, and there was speculation of what's going to happen to Gwen Stacy. Last we discussed this. Come to find out, they really are digging up 616 Gwen Stacy and turning her into Gwenpool.
Right.
Can the spider? Sorry.
It's okay. Let me see. I think it's a mini series for 5 issues.
Yes.
I'm trying to find the creative team if I can find it on this article.
I think you even scroll past an image of what she actually is supposed to look like.
This is the 616 Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, that's her. They dig her up from the grave, and she becomes an assassin.
Well, the other thing too is like could be because one thing could be like some guys basically the other possibility was remember there's that clone of Gwen Stacy still going around since Clone Conspiracy, right? And then that they're basically like maybe that they're also kind of using Gwen remains to kind of revitalize her. I don't know, but
May
yeah,
14th, 2025, we can read this this thing, or you could avoid it. What are your thoughts, Sarah? I haven't heard from Sarah in a minute.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm hearing of this. So I'm like
Wait,
late to
really?
the part. Yes. What?
Yeah.
I can read some of the press release from Marvel about that. Her death is the most heart-wrenching moment in comic history.
So leave it alone.
Her return will be the most outrageous. Teased last week, prepare for the unthinkable with the resurrection of Gwen Stacy. The madmen responsible are New York Times bestselling author Kevin Scott from Star Wars The High Republic and rising star Stefano Nessi, who will bring back Spider-Man's first love as a cold-blooded killer this May in a new Gwenpool series. Gwen Stacy returns as a darker, deadlier, and even more unhinged Gwenpool, and who better to help Spidey navigate this soul-crushing revelation than the medium-shattering, attention-seeking Marvel Comics superfan that is the original Gwenpool. Because Gwenpool is from an alternate universe. So this one's going to mentor the 616 who's been resurrected.
That doesn't even track for actual Gwenpool. Like, this is all just, let's piss all over all these female characters and set them on fire because we hate women. That is literally the way this is feeling.
Continued in the press release, on this bold decision to resurrect Gwen Stacy, the writer says, what an absolute honor to tear both Gwenpool and Spider-Man's world apart. Yes, please. Gwen Stacy is back from the grave and deadlier than ever. Weapon X style abilities, check. A lion-in killer put-downs. You got it. This is not the Gwen you remember, but just who is behind her miraculous resurrection and what has happened to the original Gwenpool's usually carefree existence.
I blame Spider-Gwen fans for this.
Add Kate Bishop and Jeff the Shark to the mix, and you have a Marvel series.
Yeah,
so Jeff the Shark and Kate Bishop are in the damn thing.
What?
This is Rage-based comic. This is what this is.
An alternate universe, like right now, like
okay,
like
That's what this is. This is Rage-based comic.
Should I just like jam these scissors in my eyes so I never have to see this again?
I thought you all would find this one interesting. I agree. This is insulting to the longtime fans. JR, you're picking it up though. It's got.
I think JR just kind of just died a little
JR,
more.
you okay? JR, did you die hearing this topic?
God.
I'm still steaming over the fact that a famous comic creator has to go begging for help to pay his medical bills.
Yes.
I'm still furious about that.
With two movies that have probably made nearly $1 billion at the box office. The Spider-Verse. He co-created one of the main characters in it. Also helped to find the main. I mean, seriously.
You would think Sony would help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
anyway, any other thoughts on literally digging up 616 Gwen?
Like I said, it's Rage-based comic.
Yeah.
I want to die. That's it.
I blame Spider-Gwen fans.
Why do you?
No.
Well, Spider-Gwen fans.
Them.
Why? Why do you blame her,
They
George?
want Spider-Gwen. They want another universe. They don't want this crap.
Well, she's from another universe.
No.
The
Gwen Pool is from another universe, but
and her name is Gwyneth Poole. She's totally separate character.
Yeah.
Sarah, I think you got another Spider book coming out this summer. Who are they digging up now? Kevin Smith.
Oh God.
I'm still not okay, but okay. Yes. So on June 11th, a one-shot called Giant Size Spider-Man is coming out. There are several short stories geared towards fans and new readers. One of them is a Spider-Man and Fantastic Four story by writer Kevin Smith and artist Giuseppe
Camuncoli.
Thank you, Camuncoli. Kevin Smith worked on some Daredevil, Spider-Man and the Black Cat, and Marvel Knights. But
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. But outside of that, obviously we know him from his 1994 comedy Clerks, then Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and several others. The artist is credited with some various Spider-Man titles like Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood, as well as some Star Wars titles and other various books like Predator and Savage Avengers. Also in...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So also in this giant-sized Spider-Man, there's another story by writer Al Ewing and artist Mark Buckingham, which we just saw in our review show earlier today, featuring a story about Spider-Man and his best friends. The story seems to span across a longer time span, like over the course of a couple years. We don't know much more than that. And then...
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, Brad, go ahead.
I was just going to say, doesn't this word balloon pretty much sum it up for the last several issues? Quote, hey, whose book is this?
Yeah, for real. That's funny that that's on there. There is another story that's been like talked about, and that's by writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Cafu, that will feature a new character that will supposedly play a huge role in the future of Spider-Man. So we'll see how that goes.
And that's probably him or her right there.
Yeah.
It looks like, who was Harry Osborn in Spencer's run?
Oh, Kindred.
Is it Kindred? It looks like Kindred.
Oh gosh.
But
I bet that's Ben Poole.
that's Uncle Ben Poole.
Oh, we brought Uncle Ben back.
Oh, yeah.
Heartbreaking.
God.
Oh,
Oh, my
sensational.
gosh.
I will give Kevin Smith credit. I don't think he would do that.
No.
I don't think he
No.
would agree to that.
No.
So he can't always write a story on time, but
Right.
generally he knows what he's doing.
Did he ever finish that Daredevil Target book?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he
I-
did.
I-
I
It
don't
came
think
out
he
in like
ever did.
02.
I think
Yeah.
he did. It was like years later. I don't even know if they published
No,
it.
that
but
was
I think
Black
he
Cat. He
finished
finished
it.
like 3 years in between.
Yeah,
I don't think he
that's
ever
right.
finished Daredevil Target.
Yeah, but it's funny because Kevin Smith, did he being the headline draw on this? Like, when was the last time Kevin Smith was ever been relevant? Since like,
The
Yeah.
He-Man stuff, the
Excuse
cartoon.
you.
I mean, I'm
the
just
He-Man
saying. No, we don't like the
Excuse
last
you.
time. The last time I seen the part of the last time I think I know he's got his podcast.
Comic book
thing.
man.
I know he's got his podcast thing. Yes, I do know about that. I'm just talking about in terms of like basically being on like in terms of like creative work and everything like this, like in terms of like
He's-
films and TV.
He's an independent filmmaker.
He's an
very
independent.
popular.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
extremely
that. Yeah.
popular.
Oh yeah, I realize
Like
that.
then
But I mean,
Clerks 3, the 4 p.m. movie club. I mean, he's just
Mhm.
making his own films. After his heart attack, he pretty much just said he just wanted to do what he wanted to do.
okay,
Obviously,
fair enough.
he wants to write a comic book. Cool.
Okay, fair enough.
mean-
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought because it just hasn't been. He just hasn't been really in the mainstream for a while. That's what I'm saying. But I know what they're saying. But I do. Yeah. But fair enough. Fair point. So yeah.
All
One
right.
thing I thought was funny from the article was a quote from Nick Lowe.
Oh no.
Everyone always
Cover
says
your ears, Kelly.
yeah, for real. Everyone always says giant size X-Men this and giant size X-Men that. And I'm sick of it. So we put together the best and coolest giant size book ever. I'm like, okay, we'll see about that.
These things
Guaranteed
generally.
this does not be bigger or better or remembered as Giant Size X-Men #1.
Yep.
Generally, these things are looked at as like filler books. It's like like the annuals were back in the day. And as of lately, it's been they put these in the back of the anniversary issues so they can pad it out and charge $10.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if the stories will be good.
Brad.
I know. All right, we've come to the part of the show where JR gets to cut loose and make fun of me for the variety of different stories that I've found and comb from the internet. I'm trying to get this pop-up out of the way so I can... Okay, there we go.
He is looking, or he has been looking for like the last several minutes, like somebody who's sitting next to somebody who farted in church.
JR is?
Yes. He's had this kind of look on his face for like a long time now. But that's
Man,
JR. I mean, that's his default.
I tell you what, I can't even play this video without these pop-ups on this thing. But JR, talk about this climbing suspect evading police for me.
Bring the funny.
Yes, and even Mary, your biggest fan, is saying, "Bring the funny."
Bring the funny.
We've dug up Gwen
Yeah.
Stacy on this show. It's now time to have some fun.
Well, we've also had a lot of trauma this episode. You
Oh,
know
yeah,
that.
we have.
Yeah. Especially after my Kevin Smith comment. So that's.
I'm just more shocked. How do you call yourself still a nerd and you don't know?
I
anything
know.
about
Oh,
this?
hey, hey, hey.
Well, true. Yeah, I know. I've got to get back in the loop of things, man. That's like.
I mean, he plays D&D still.
I know. I do.
That's nerdy.
Yeah.
JR,
Yeah, but-
JR,
I know.
we're bringing the funny. God, these pop-ups. Oh, my Lord. I want to show it, but here, this is what I'm looking at. The video's hidden like 3 layers deep of pop-ups.
Oh, good grief.
God dang. There. Okay.
Ad blocker?
I
Yeah.
do, but it won't let you play anything if I ad block it. Okay, go ahead, JR.
Well, this is another lazy story.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Okay, here we go.
Not necessarily just Brad picking out these stories, but these idiots who bring Spider-Man into even the most banal and ridiculous. So here's this effing moron who's climbing a wall, and just because he's climbing a wall, everybody wants to make a Spider-Man reference. It's like, Jesus Christ, people, and the people who want to write about this bullshit, I mean,
Set it up, JR. Why is he running from the popo? Does it say? You're muted, JR.
Well,
What happened?
He's muted now. Oh,
You
muted.
mute him.
Muted. Can't
Can
hear
I
you.
mute?
There we go.
There you are. Okay.
accidentally.
He was
Okay.
downloading at Google's.
I blame the
All
pop-ups.
right. This is the moment. A suspect made an audacious bid for freedom on one of the UK's busiest roads by attempting to scale a large wall like Spider-Man. Yeah, well, he didn't even bother to dress like Spider-Man. A man was spotted fleeing from police on foot close to Chingford on the A406, also known as the North Circular, a ring road that encircles central London. Yeah, it sounds like some of these stupid ass. What do they call them? The where you don't have to do the stop sign anymore. You just keep going around and around in a circle anymore, and they think
A
this
roundabout.
roundabouts. Yeah, sounds like they got a bunch of those stupid ass things in London as well.
Yeah.
The individual dressed all in black. So why do they? Must be in the symbiote suit then. Was filmed by a passing motorist as he sprinted down the left-hand lane of the dual carriageway at around 4:05. So as police officers neared, the man decided to take his chance by starting to climb a giant wall that appears to be at least 40 foot high. He got about 20 feet, and then he fell on his ass.
This is Spider News.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's, in the short clip, the man is seen plummeting after losing his grasp on the wall, landing on a police officer below. Well, it's a shame he didn't break his neck, to be honest. God damn, these people are so stupid. 4 police, but why didn't they just shoot him?
Why? What did he do? What did he do?
He's an idiot.
I know,
just
but
an
what?
idiot.
He was
crime.
running from the police for what? What is he running from? What did he
Well,
do?
again, this is journalism these days. As the scene unfolded, the section of the road was cordoned off by the cops. The individual arrested on suspicion of driving offenses. Like what? Driving offenses. What? Going, not turning his turn signal on, going too slow in the passing lane. Jesus.
Unlicensed spider buggy.
Unlicensed spider buggy. That's pretty good.
Social
Probably in-
media
probably
uses
in
that
past
poke
emission
fun at the
steps.
man's attempt to climb the towering wall, comparing him to Marvel superhero Spider-Man. Telling my kids this was Spider-Man, one wrote, while a second chimed, I just saw real-life Spider-Man. Another quipped, must have missed this scene on Spider-Man. God, these people are fucking hysterical.
JR.
God.
Yeah,
What
yes,
is it?
Kelly.
They all sound like bots.
They probably are.
Oh, he ripped up the paper.
They probably are at this point.
Maybe there are bots. All right. Now, JR, I have had
story, stupid journalism, stupid writers, stupid people on the scene commenting. God damn.
Wait, there's more. This is our
bring in the stupids.
This is our last topic for the night. I have had so many people message me this. They're like, JR's got to do this. JR's got to do this. JR, have you seen this, Brad? JR needs to do this. At least 10 people have messaged me this topic.
Who?
And they have asked you to do this
As
next
William
news story.
Shatner once famously said, "Get a life, will you, people?"
Can you name the 10 people? They might need to be named and shamed after this.
And
All right. Let me show you the picture of the suspect. There you go, JR.
Jeez.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. No. No. It's JR. It's JR. Finally, you were tired of covering the news. You made the news, JR.
Hang on, I'm gonna get my phone because there's probably a warrant out for his arrest and there may be a reward.
Hey, let's all comment in the chat.
Actually, JR's suit is a lot more shaded
detailed?
and like there's more detail. Yeah, like this is a cheap knockoff.
Yeah.
When JR robs a store, he brings the quality.
It's
And
more
the
like
funny.
Michael Douglas and falling down than it
And
is
the funny.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have been, what is this last picture of him? They're sitting pathetically on his ass or something.
Well, here, we'll get to that. Do the setup.
No, this is the ass hat behind the mask, okay?
Oh my God.
I mean, come on, this guy's got. I mean, first of all, how did he get that? How did he get the mask over that hair of his?
All right, tell me what this suspect allegedly did, JR. He's innocent until proven guilty.
No, this guy's guilty. He's guilty.
Wow.
Thank you, Judge Judy. I mean,
not on Judge JR.
All right.
Anyway, this moron goes into a hobby store and dressed like this, for example, because and he starts asking about these expensive Pokemon cards, and is anybody suspicious? I don't know. But then
10 grand's worth of Pokemans.
10 grand worth of Pokemon cards. Oh, my
Good
Lord.
grief.
Oops.
So
Breathe.
what
JR, you're going to pass out, man. Breathe. Oh, God, he can't get it unzipped. He's going to die here right on the air.
There he goes. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
No,
JR,
I can't.
welcome.
Anyway, no, because I have to read some of this stuff, and I can't read it with that thing on. Anyway, he allegedly scouted the store Gaming Giant. He reportedly came in during operating hours and asked about specific graded cards related to popular anime series Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Pokemon, which were locked in the display case. I mean, first of all, this guy looks like somebody who's on the streets of my town or whatever with a grocery cart and a bunch of junk in it. That's what this guy looks like,
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, Spider-Man was homeless under Mackie and Byrne.
Pretty much. Rare and desirable cards from any series can be graded by experts, which can increase their sale price by thousands of dollars if they're in good enough condition. Who cares? What's the point of that? Anyway, the store owner said he returned after hours Friday night and broke into the store. He made off with numerous graded slabs as well as sealed Pokemon product. Well, I was wondering how the hell did they know that this guy had, this was the guy, because they kept saying that, they always knew who it was. Well, I guess somebody turned his ass in. People received tips about the burglary and arrested him shortly after. He was charged with burglary and released on an unsecured bond, according to Fairfax Police Department. Well, apparently Virginia must have a law like San Francisco's. If you steal something like Pokemon cards, it's not a crime, whereas in San Francisco, if you steal it all, it's not a crime either. Demand for these cards has gone up in years, blah, blah, blah. What was the Actually, there was another part of this story about people getting in fights when these expansion packs are released.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube, you can see videos of people fighting just like Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes.
Back in the 80s for these Pokemon cards.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And Target had to pull them off the shelves because people were getting in fights.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's stupider, the people getting in fights for these Pokemon cards or this moron for stealing and getting caught and having the gall to show up during business. See, this is during business hours because, you can see some other, asshat here, shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So he shows up. He shows up during business hours looking like this. And then he comes back and no one is expected to be the wiser.
JR, what do you do when you rob for Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
Or rather, what do you do when you rob comic books? Because that's essentially what this is. Like, that's what Pokemon cards are.
Yeah.
I mean,
you look like Spider-Gwen there, JR.
Yeah. I'm just kind
of
curious.
Any thoughts on this one, gang?
I'm just kind of curious as to which Pokemon cards that this guy took that was worth that much. I know they can be. See, I'm not completely out of the loop, but yeah, I'm just
I would assume it's 50 from the first, probably the first 2 US sets, because that's what seems to be circulated.
Yeah, but
foils.
Even so, yeah, that this guy is just like
makes me look
I mean,
like
all
a
the things to take.
stack.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, congratulations, JR. You brought the funny. Thank you for the Spider News update. It is time to wrap the show up. Chat, thank you for being there. Let's do final thoughts. Kelly, final thoughts. This is how was your session here for spider counseling?
For spider counseling, clearly I have some anger issues I need to work through. That seems to be the main emotion of
it. We all need to breathe, and JR can't. He's 2 masks deep.
The tragedy of this is going to wind up in like a YouTube compilation. What none of them knew is that their friend couldn't breathe under the mask and was already dead.
For audio listeners, JR has put a goblin mask
over his Spider-Man mask over his face.
And it's probably asphyxiating as we speak.
Some people do it with a car in a garage. JR did it with a mask.
He may be happy.
Dark.
He may be like, "Oh, sweet release."
God.
Good. Sarah, final thoughts as you are shocked at me like you were yesterday.
There's some cool news topics that we had, but some also traumatic ones. So
yeah, no doubt. What was the most traumatic for you?
The Gwen Stacy one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is that a question?
Mike, final thoughts?
Well, first of all, apologies to Kevin Smith. I just hope he doesn't send Jay and Silent Bob to kill me after the end of this podcast for basically mocking him.
Don't worry about Jay and Silent Bob. Kelly's coming for you. I mean,
no.
I
might call Jay Silent Bob, but no.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
all
maybe.
Right. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, I'm glad we were able to work through our trauma bonding at this point, because good grief, there is quite a bit of it going on with especially what's coming down the pipeline with some of this.
It's not too late. We can all get out now.
I know we could.
Where's the door? Where is the door? How are we getting out, Kelly?
I don't know when, but at some point the podcast became like the Crawlspace podcast became a struggle session.
Yeah.
George, final thoughts, sir?
I think JR's dead. Move or something so we know you're okay.
No, it's okay. Marvel will dig him up and make him JR Pool.
JR Pool. I blame Spider JR fans. Oh no.
God, JR is dead.
He's
Look,
dead.
JR, you get the final word. Here, go 2 layers. By God, man.
Jeez.
Come on, JR. Breathe, brother. JR, final thoughts, sir.
This show made me want to die. The only reason I took this off is because I realized it wasn't going to happen fast enough.
Jesus, this is dark.
I'm going to go
Not as dark
upstairs
as bringing
and
Gwen
talk to
Stacy
my
back
wife.
to life.
I'm going to go upstairs and talk to my wife so death will come even faster.
Be sure to let her know where all the important papers are.
JR.
I just tore them up, actually.
Oh, God.
I need to put up a phone number or something for people for support.
For real.
I know, right? Oh yeah, Vinkman. Next Spider News, Brad's gonna pull a weekend at Bernie's with JR. Bring the old man back.
That will be after Amazing Spider-Man 1000. Okay.
Bring your shovel. We're getting JR back.
Brad sitting there like with his hand behind JR's head, moving him and everything. Oh, suddenly I like the Secret Wars now. Oh.
Killed me. Suddenly I like the Secret Wars. Yeah. I love it when he kicked the X-Men's butt. Yeah.
That was good.
That was really good.
That was good. Oh, I bought this just for the cover.
I give it an 8.
Oh, hey, look, there's a black cat taking a bath in milk. Isn't that sexy? Oh, gee, look, here's this stupid-ass news story. I love reading these stupid-ass news stories. Give me more.
The one day on Spider News, JR's jaw's just going to fall off.
JR, are you okay?
Blink 3 times if you're being held hostage. Oh, do we roll? Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks everybody for watching. That's it.